Hey, this is a follow-up video to the one that I did on fear-based aggression. If you didn't look at that video yet, please go have a look at it. The thumbnail looks like this. If you don't have the time to look at that video, here's a clip from the first one that shows a dog that is displaying reactive or aggressive type tendencies based on fear of having his collar grabbed. So in the previous clip, I promised there'd be a follow-up video. My friend who I gave the advice to and gave him a protocol on how to fix that. Within a couple sessions, he had a very dramatic turnaround. The dog is doing infinitely better. I hope you agree, but anyways, here's the clip.
Good boy. Yeah.
So, how were these results obtained? Now, a lot of videos, they just want to string it out and drag you along right to the end. I'm not going to do that to you. But let me say a couple words first. The training community is very divided, that some people, whether it's obedience or behavior, they're going to swear by positive reinforcement only. I certainly don't believe in that. But then on the other side of the fence, you have people that are very militant and, you know, everything is about being the dog's boss and very dominance related. Now, in my own opinion, you don't fix fear by trying to punish it. Again, I said that in the previous video, I stand by that. So what the balance community often does is they will claim they build confidence by sending the dog to place. They will use words like a competing behavior, you know, and a lot of verbiage around that. Now, let's think that through. If you're deathly afraid of spiders, and I drop a ton of spiders in front of you, and I tell you that you absolutely must count the number of objects in front of you, or I'm going to slap you in the head, is that really going to diminish that fear of spiders? If you were truly able to focus on counting the objects, yeah, it might. But chances are you're going to be so worried about the fear. So anyways, I said I wouldn't string you along. What do? I do something that falls into the realm of classical conditioning and counter conditioning. So if you take classical conditioning, you have a neutral stimulus that signals something else. Pavlov would ring a bell, the dogs would salivate even before the food appeared because they were conditioned that once they heard the bell, that the food would arrive soon after. That's for a neutral stimulus. In this case, we have something negative. The dog's afraid of the collar grab, right? So that falls a little bit into the realm of counter conditioning. And there's a lot of people that are going to claim, oh, it doesn't work. And it
doesn't matter what you think.
There's a gentleman in the UK who has done several videos that where he's basically bashing on counter conditioning because he claims it hardly ever works and all of that. Now, you know, if say it only worked on 2 out of 10 dogs, but it's super minimally aversive, wouldn't that be a valuable tool to have in your toolbox, even if it rarely works, but it works on some dogs, right? My experience is it works on most dogs. And there isn't anything that's going to work for every dog. You know, that certainly doesn't exist. And there's some dogs that genetically are such a mess that no matter what you do, they're always going to have some issues. And then you'll have to live a little bit of a lifestyle of management. But anyway, so let me tell you the advice that I gave to my friend. I first asked him, what is this dog motivated by? Does he like food? Does he like toys? And it turns out the dog has a crazy high food drive. The dog loves playing tug. I said, you have the keys to the kingdom. This won't be hard. So what I had told him to do is take food and have the dog chase you around. And once in a while, your hand's going to open up and he's going to get that food. You don't dare touch the collar. You don't touch the dog at all. Just have him chase food. If the food isn't working well, take out the tug, whip it around, have him chase you, let him bite it, let him win it, let him pull it away from you some of the time, but have him chase you around. Don't worry about the collar at all. Now, what I'm using here is, or the attempt here is to put the dog into a very highly aroused state. When there's excitement and there's hope of winning a prize, we get hormones like dopamine and adrenaline and various other things that pump into the bloodstream, and the dog gets this artificial high. That's what we want. Anyways, what I'm talking about here are techniques that are used by sports teams. They're used by the military, militaries for hundreds of years. You know, just think about movies that you've seen or professional sports you've seen. They'll chant, you know, militaries long ago, maybe Vikings or Spartans, they would bang their shields and
these shields, boys!
chanting and put themselves into this highly aroused state. And that arousal level, all these hormones are going to help combat the fear. So let's continue with what was done with this dog. You have the dog chasing around, trying to get the food, biting a tug, winning the tug once in a while. Once you can get that dog to engage with you and play with you, what you're going to do the occasional time, you're going to stick your hand out very quickly, shove your thumb under the collar, and push the dog away, right? So the dog's charging in, you're going to push him away. Now, you should only make contact with the collar maybe a quarter or a half second. Now, if the dog doesn't mind that, you're going to do it again, and you're going to push the dog away, trying to maintain about a second of contact. And that 1 second will become 2, 5, and 10. Now, keep in mind, at this point, we're just pushing the dog away. Once the dog is super comfortable with that, when the dog charges in once in a while, you're going to grab that collar and you're going to push him off to the side, and you're going to jump to the side in hopes that he comes right back at you, and you're playing this, you know, very exciting game. And there, once you're able to grab that collar for even 1 second, you can now turn that 2, 5, and 10. So again, you can argue with me all day long, but look at the video, look at the proof. I think it works. If this only works on very few dogs, you know, so what? Again, I get these cases all the time. I have them work for me. You know, on the vast majority of dogs, I don't have to do super, you know, yank and crank type stuff when the dog reacts. A lot of times, if you're yanking and cranking and the dog's in a fear state to begin with, yeah, you can shut that dog down, and then he's just putting up with the lesser of two evils. Well, if I learned helplessness, if I stay here and do nothing, please, I'll deal with it, right? And the idea with a lot of these trainers is that once they push the dog through the fear of having to deal with it, the dog will get over it. And guess what? In some cases that works too, but in some cases you make a bigger mess. I remember seeing a video a number of years ago where there was this trainer where he had been called in by this fairly wealthy family. And again, the trainer was a fairly big name at the time and, you know, had a really big YouTube presence. And the dog was afraid to get in the pool, basically. So here's this video of the trainer in his bathing suit, and he has a dog on a prong, and he's jumping into the pool, and he's popping that prong, and the dog's being ripped into the pool and then swimming out of the pool. It was just horrific. You know, I'm sorry. I could accomplish the same thing without all the drama. But hey, when you want that controversy and you want people to go watch your YouTube videos, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. You know, it's people seem to love reality TV still, even after all these years, and that's where the attempt was. You know, I remember another video with a dressage whip because he had attended a Czechoslovakian seminar. But anyways, I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm just saying with a lot of these fear-based cases, there's very soft ways of fixing it. Again, I use e-collars all the time for obedience. I use prong collars. I'm not bashing those tools. I love those tools for obedience. But when you have a shut down, a miserable, a fearful dog, there is a better and softer way to do it. Anyways, I'm going to have a bunch more of these videos. Thank you for watching this one. And for all the people that have encouraged me to continue doing these videos, thank you so much. You don't know how much that means to me, and I truly do mean it. Thank you.